everybody, and welcome back to Season 4 of the SPEMA Council podcast. My name is Madeline Grossi. I am one of your co-hosts and podcast administrator. Joining me, like always, we have Jackson Pretley, our producer and additional co-host. Today we have our special guest and another co-host for you. We have Luke. He's part of SPEMA Council on the social team. And I'm going to throw it over to Jackson to introduce our guest for today.
Thank you, Maddie. So on today's episode, we have Jake Bourrie. Jake is the current director of marketing and corporate partnerships at the Sarnia Sting Hockey Club of the OHL. Jake graduated from Fanshawe College, diploma of business administration and management, and an advanced diploma in business administration and leadership before graduating from Nipissing University with a Bachelor of Business Administration and Organizational Studies. We welcome Jake as the 14th guest on Season 4 of the SPEMA Council podcast.
Thank you very much, guys. It's an honor to be here. Appreciate the time.
And let's get right into it. So, Jake, can you just tell us a little bit about your career path so far in the sports industry?
So it has its fair share of ups and downs, but as you mentioned in the bio there, I went to school really like many, not really knowing, what you want to get into, just trying to find your way in life. For the transition from high school to college into adulthood it's a tough one for a lot of people, and I was no different. So I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I took the first step and went to college for general business, and then it kind of just really unfolded from there. I have a passion for sports. By no means was I good enough to pursue a career on the field, on the ice, or on the court, but I certainly love the game of hockey. I love all kinds of sports, and never really thought that you could pursue a career really in sports other than being an athlete, and boy was I wrong. My journey's taken me in a few different directions, and I'm just really grateful for that, where it has me today. So first started off interning, as many do, in the Ontario Hockey League with the London Knights, transitioned to my first career job with Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, and then was lucky enough to get a job back home with the Sarnia Sting, where I've been able to advance my role over the last couple seasons.
It's funny you mentioned there that you went to school, you didn't really know what you wanted to do, because I've helped out at a few of the recruitment events here at school, and it's so interesting how many parents come with their kids and they're like amazed by the sport management program and say like, oh my gosh, I wish I could have taken this when I'm at school, just because I mean back then, like, working in sport wasn't at least a program. You could still get there, but it wasn't a program. So now having this program has opened a lot of doors for students, for sure.
Absolutely. And I think it's just taking the first step. Going to school is your first step, and then what you do with your experience and what you do to volunteer and get yourself out there, that's your second step. But just starting and school is a great way to take that first one.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we can roll into our second question here. So how do you believe that marketing in the OHL is different than the NHL, or do you think they're similar at all? So maybe just some strategies that you see and that you use.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to compare the two leagues. I think you could probably compare markets a little bit better. So, I mean, maybe the Arizona Coyotes have their struggles, and then the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Florida Panthers, who are in a non-traditional hockey market, would do different marketing than the Boston Bruins or some of these original six established franchises. But I'd really compare the Ontario Hockey League to a lot of these, similar to the American League. More to minor baseball leagues. You have to do a lot of grassroots marketing, a lot of experience-based marketing. So more than just, your ticket and your seat. Especially when years where maybe you're not the strongest team in the league, you really got to make up for that with enhanced experience. And that's where those group sales programs really come in, picking up the phone, making calls, and bringing people in to have an enhanced experience. So here with the Sting, we do a number of things like that. We have a game before our game where young teams will come out and they purchase a block of tickets to the game, and they get to play a game before the Sting on the Sting ice. And we do all the bells and whistles for them with the Jumbotron and the goal horn and all those fancy things to give them that enhanced experience. And that's something different that I don't think you'd see at Scotiabank Arena with the Leafs. I could be wrong, but I'm assuming that you don't. We do a lot of things like you'll have kids come out and sing the anthems. So group sales is a major piece of the Ontario Hockey League marketing portfolio for teams, without a doubt. And then we do a lot of the traditional stuff. So you see the social media videos. We place a big emphasis on video production and showing who these kids are, outside of the jersey and the helmet. We do a lot of that traditional stuff that you'll see the NHL teams do. But to answer your question, long story short, sorry, the difference I guess would be is more of the hands-on enhanced experience that you get at OHL games, as opposed to where in the NHL you'll purchase your ticket because you want to see those superstars play, those established superstars, and sit in your seat and enjoy the game. So.
No, for sure. And then because you've been with the Sarnia Sting for a good time now, so do you have like a most memorable like partnership or like marketing type of thing you guys have done, or just like one that has always stuck with you because it was just a cool experience?
Yeah. Well, being involved in the Steven Stamkos jersey retirement here in Sarnia. I'm not sure if you can see his banner over there. I guess it's this way. Wrong way. I guess I'm blocking it. Sorry. But we retired Steven Stamkos as number 91 here in Sarnia. And that was a really special moment for me to be involved in. Funny story about that one, actually. I had lost the remote control to the banner, to the machine that raises the banner the night before for about 4 hours. So I I was running all over the rink. We did find it, and everything went off so great. But that's a funny story from there. But just being involved in that and putting on that production was amazing. To be involved in that. The second most memorable thing we did was in partnership with our title sponsor, Imperial Esso. We actually pulled our bus up to the frozen pond here in town and surprised all the kids out there playing, and our mascot and all of our players jumped off the bus in their jerseys and went and played with all the kids. And that's really one of those organic marketing initiatives that we didn't really plan. It kind of came about, but really got us the most traction in terms of like online impressions and word of mouth. People were really buzzing about that after we did it. So those are my two most memorable. There's been many along with that, but for the sake of time, we'll stick with those two.
No, for
Yeah,
sure.
getting the community involved is just really important. It's been great to see what this thing been doing over the past few years. In terms of marketing, are there any like changes or new trends in the industry that you see coming up? And if so, what's your strategy to adapt to them?
That's a great question. You're always going to see changes. You're never going to be in a situation where there's no changing trends. We're in a crazy world of digital technology that continues to evolve. I mean, you look, when I first started here, I think there's maybe only a couple teams that had even a social media manager, and now like that's just status quo, right? So your trends are always changing, they're always evolving. Right now, the big one is that transition to short form video. TikTok, Instagram Reels, they're really taking over, trying to adapt and keep up with that, but also like put your finger on what's the next thing, right? If you're always just trying to keep up, you're never going to be ahead of the game. So we're really proud with where we were with the TikTok evolution. We're one of the highest. I think we are the most followed TikTok account in the Ontario Hockey League, which is something we're very proud of. We just surpassed 1 million likes because we were on it early. And now you're starting to see there's going to be something new that comes out. So that's the challenge with marketing, right? It's always evolving. There's always new trends, and then just keeping up with it.
No, for sure. Do you have a favorite TikTok trend that you've seen, or are you just more of the behind
I don't actually run the social media accounts. Lindsay Baxter, our digital content manager, runs all that. She deserves all the credit. She's coming up with all the fun stuff, but she just did one I saw. I thought it was pretty good. It was the ick trend. So
Okay.
what you say, like, what's your ick? And they do it in that funny voice. So we did that with a couple players. We've done that with our athletic therapist and our equipment manager. They talk about what icks them about each other. And it's an amazing way to have some fun and just get to know the people behind the helmets, right? Behind the bench, behind the crest. And that's really important. So that's one that comes to mind, that trend.
No, for sure. It's like because you guys had that pond activity there, so it's just about building connection. Because there could be a player that goes like, or if a fan might say like, "Oh, that's so funny," and then they're thinking about Sarnia, thinking about the Sting, and then all of a sudden they're purchasing tickets, and that's just the power of social media.
Yeah, that's a great point. Is personal connection. If you can make personal connections throughout the years, you'll have fans for life. So, it could be something as small as, we take a lot of our Sting players to the schools, right? They talk a lot about healthy, active living and dedication and commitment and work ethic. And it only takes really, taking an extra minute with a child out of school to maybe, talk to them personally or read them a book or even just like a fist bump or a high five. And then that kid's going home and saying, wow, player XYZ, did this and can we go watch them play? And then they see them on the big ice and they score that goal and there's that personal connection and that's a big part of our marketing strategy for sure.
No, for sure. And then just to kind of transition to a little bit more away from the business side into kind of like real life sports talk. So who has been the best player you've seen play in the OHL? It could be a player on Sarnia or somebody that came in the visitor's door.
Oh wow. Mitch Marner was pretty good. He was not on Sarnia. He was on our rival London Knights. He was one of those players that you saw on the ice like, oh boy, something could happen at all times. But on the Sting, by far Travis Konechny. We acquired Travis in the trade deadline of 2015, and he was pretty special. I think his first game he had a hat trick. Just every time he touched the puck, he was just something could happen. But that Travis was one of my standouts. This year we have a very good team this year. We're loading up for a long playoff run. So a lot of special talent in Sarnia. Ty Voigt, Toronto Maple Leafs prospect. He moves around the ice so well. Sasha Pastujov, Anaheim Ducks prospect. He shoots the puck incredibly well. He moves really well. Just acquired Ethan Del Mastro. He was on Team Canada's World Junior gold medal team. Chicago Blackhawks prospect, a force on the blue line, and of course our goaltender Benjamin Gaudreau, San Jose Sharks prospect, is between the pipes. So a lot of talent here. We're very blessed to work in this industry and watch such incredible, players come through and to watch them transition from 16 years old, young boys really to men at 19 and 20 years old and watch their careers progress. Jordan Kyrou, was another one of those players. He's playing pretty well for St. Louis now. Amazing player for the Sting. It's a real treat to watch and it's a privilege.
No, for sure. I think that's probably my favorite thing about junior hockey is just seeing these kids coming at 16. It's like they're in grade 10, grade 11, and then you see them go at sometimes 18, 19, 20. It's like you see their 4 years of like their lives and just see them grow as players is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we jumped to it before about what's like your most memorable moment of your career, but maybe I know you've had some other experiences in the industry, or maybe as a fan. Is there like a game that you'll always remember, either as a fan or a part of the Sting?
Honestly, the games, all of our work is done before and after the game. So ironically, it's again, I'd have to go back to the Stamkos night. It really jumps out at me. I'd say that there was also a game where we had installed this the jumbotron behind me. We installed that during the season over Christmas, believe it or not, and then had to scramble and get all the digital content ready for it and prepared. And then the game we played on December the 28th against the Windsor Spitfires, and we launched the score clock, and that was pretty special because a lot of work goes into that. And then to be honest, a lot of the games that I'm really most proud of have nothing to do with what the outcome of the score was.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always about, what you did, but like before the game and how everybody feels. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a game, but that's not the end all and be all of everything.
Yeah, whether we win 5-0, which we obviously hope we do, or lose 5-0, we hope that fans leave saying they had a good time, right? And they're going to come back.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. The best when I interned for the Sting a few years ago, the coolest thing I learned kind of working in sports is that it doesn't matter how good the team does, but I can still know I had a great night work doing what I was doing and make people have a great time. That was really special to see.
Yep.
And just on the topic still of fun sports talks, have you ever had any good like player or coach interactions? Is there like one that sticks out to you in your time with the Sting?
I think some of the most special things for me in the player interaction are more like what I can do for younger fans, lesser for me. obviously, like we've had some fantastic coaches here: Darian Hatcher, David Lagwand, Brad Stavitz, Michael Haley have all played in the National Hockey League. Our current coach, Alan Latang, is a phenomenal coach. Really puts in the work, and he's won 2 World Junior gold medals. So those are all great interactions. But I think for me personally, it's being able to, not only like transition these kids from kids playing minor midget AAA hockey to becoming National Hockey League professional hockey players, both on and off the ice. That's pretty special, and watching that journey and helping them along the journey. Of course, with the off ice stuff, not on the ice for me, but also bringing those players into the community, and like the opportunity for our youth of our community to look up to these guys and be role models and give people special opportunities to have time with their heroes. So they come here on Friday night and they see, they see Ty Voigt score the game-winning goal, but they also got to talk to Ty Voigt face to face, and he was at their practice helping them with stick handling drills, and that's probably the most special thing for the job.
No, for sure. Because like you said, building like with players building connections. I always like to see on like social media, because you can just see the players like light up with a smile when they go into the community, when they help out like the little ones, because they were in that position however many years ago, and they know what it's like. So I just always like to see the smile that the players have, and then you can see the smiles on the kids too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, we've had an awesome talk here today. I mean, we've gotten through our questions, and we've learned a lot about you, Jake, and your time at the Sting and in the sports industry. So we always like to give our guests the final word, and we'll give you the floor. So on behalf of the podcast here, myself, Jackson, and Luke for joining us today, we thank you for coming on, and we'll give it to you. Any last words or final comments?
Wow, what an honor. Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. My comment would just be, if you really want something, push for it. But if you really want something, you're gonna have to push for it. So don't expect it just to be handed over to you. Anything's possible. I never would have thought in a million years, like I say, an 18-year-old Jake or 16-year-old Jake would be so proud and happy to see where he is now today. But it came with a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication. So don't be afraid to dream, but be prepared to put the work in to achieve those dreams. So thank you so much for having me on, guys. It was a privilege.
Awesome. Thanks, Jake.
Thank
Okay,
you.
have a great day.
Thanks.
See you guys.